Good morning. Welcome to this session on data collection and management for efficient urban mobility. It's, my personal perception is that this is one of the key aspects when we are dealing with mobility, in the sense that we need from where to where the people is willing to travel and in which conditions at which time. And that means that we must know, or we must be able of collecting data. Data collection in urban mobility analysis has been usually one of the big problems, because the technologies may not available to have the possibility to access to the required data. So data usually in urban analysis were scarce and very expensive. Technology is providing a big change in this scenario, because the technology is just now posing us in the opposite situation. That means perhaps we are now flooded with data. So a very important question is how to collect, how properly collect this data, and how to handle this data. And I think that this is one of the most challenging subjects of today, and is the subject that is going to be addressed in these sessions. We have 5 speakers in this session, and that will tell us about their experiences. We have decided that the questions and answers will come at the end of the session. So the speakers will proceed to make their presentations. You have the technology. In Spanish, we say that otherwise it will be in casa del herrero, cuchillo de palo. So that means in the house of the forgeron to have a wooden knife. And then the technology will allow you to address the questions, and then they will be collected in a tablet that will be given to me at the end of the session, and then we will proceed to the questions and answers. So without further delay, let's start. And our first speaker will be Carlos Urriola Cuevas from the Ministry of Transportation in Chile. And that's an announcement that I have been asked to do, is that he will make the presentation in Spanish. Please, the floor is yours. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I will do my presentation in Spanish. I apologize for that. The primero, el foco de nosotros, desde el Estado de Chile, en el tema de datos abiertos, gestión de movilidad, lo primero es que la estrategia de fondo siempre es crear una sociedad próspera y equitativa. Desde ahí nosotros nos basamos en el marco de la eficiencia en la movilidad urbana, en una estrategia clara. Y esto es importante entender porque esto es el marco que globaliza, en este caso, el tema de la colección de datos y el análisis. Nosotros creemos que, independiente de eso, siempre hay que priorizar 2 puntos. Primero, la priorización del transporte público, y lo segundo, el fomento de modos no motorizados. En este aspecto, la recolección de datos debe siempre ayudar a mejorar la toma de decisiones para ciudadanos y gobiernos. Pero, y aquí quiero enfatizar, los datos en sí mismos no son suficientes. Necesitamos también la analítica de los datos. Desde el Ministerio de Transporte de Chile, creemos que esta debe ser provista en una modalidad de servicio. Pero, y en nuestra experiencia en Chile, incluso con la analítica, no es suficiente todavía para provocar el cambio que estas herramientas pueden hacer. Vemos, cuando queremos efectivamente tratar de ocupar los nuevos datos, que necesitamos generar un cambio cultural. Necesitamos generar la confianza en todos los equipos técnicos de estas nuevas herramientas. Y creemos, y es un poco lo que hemos hablado también con otros colegas en el resto del mundo, que el sector público tenemos que adoptar y cambiar nuestros procesos para ser capaces de tomar efectivamente estos datos y ocupar las nuevas herramientas. Y por esta razón, y complementando con la captura de datos, creemos también que la estrategia de datos abiertos es una gran oportunidad. Disponibilizar los datos útiles, y hemos visto, y lo que hemos hecho en Chile, activa el ecosistema de innovación y emprendimiento. Y, con eso nosotros somos capaces de crear nuevos servicios. En ese sentido, a partir de estos desafíos, nosotros hemos desarrollado algunos proyectos desde Chile y que hemos tratado de compartir con el mundo. Lo primero, y como el desafío en este marco es la eficiencia de la movilidad, hemos generado algunos proyectos primero en torno al uso de la bicicleta. En este caso, la experiencia de Capo, que es un emprendimiento, un startup chileno, en lo cual desde el Estado hemos tratado y fomentado su desarrollo. Hemos logrado tener una aplicación que fomenta el uso de la bicicleta y que permite reconocer los viajes de los ciclistas. Es más, si ustedes pueden ir al stand de Microsoft y ver esta experiencia que ha nacido desde Chile. Lo segundo es una experiencia también de que hemos logrado levantar desde el Estado información de planificadores, para planificadores de ruta a pie. En eso hemos trabajado fuerte con Workonomics. Junto con eso, también nosotros creemos que para poder eficientar el transporte, tenemos que priorizar el transporte público. Y en eso hemos trabajado fuerte también con las universidades, que son claves para el desarrollo del uso de nuevas tecnologías y nuevas herramientas. Hemos desarrollado un análisis origen-destino del transporte público de Santiago, a partir de los datos que capturamos, tanto de las transacciones hechas por los medios de pago, como por los GPS de los buses. Además, también hemos generado un proyecto de disponibilización de información estática del transporte público en Chile. A partir de esa información, tanto Google Maps como Movit han empezado a generar mayor información al usuario. Una tercera iniciativa que creo que es muy importante compartirla con ustedes es que para generar la confianza en los ecosistemas de emprendimiento, hemos fomentado el desarrollo de una comunidad en movilidad. En ese sentido, el Estado es solo un actor más dentro de esta comunidad, y en la cual hemos empezado a generar redes de confianza público-privada entre el Estado y los emprendimientos, pero también entre los emprendimientos. Nosotros creemos que eso es un camino efectivamente para poder empezar a adoptar y generar nuevas herramientas adecuadas para la toma de decisiones de una movilidad más eficiente. Finalmente, compartirle una experiencia también que hemos desarrollado junto a la empresa Entel, que es una empresa de telecomunicaciones, en lo cual hemos generado un análisis de orígenes-destino y la medición de tiempos de viaje usando la información de la red de telefonía móvil. Esto ya se presentó el año pasado en este mismo congreso y hemos seguido trabajando para poder tratar de usar toda esta información, toda esta colección de data desde los teléfonos celulares y poder ayudar con esa información tanto a hacer una gestión eficiente del transporte, pero también poder planificar el transporte tanto de autos y sobre todo, por ejemplo, de peatones, en los cuales la información que uno tiene de los peatones siempre ha sido muy pobre. Entonces creemos que este es un camino también para poder generar infraestructura para el peatón. En resumen, nosotros, y en nuestra experiencia en el Ministerio de Transporte de Chile, creemos que la data es importante, pero no es un fin, es un recurso. El fin realmente es promover y gestionar modos eficientes de transporte, sobre todo transporte público y modos no motorizados. y que independiente de las tecnologías, y eso también es un trabajo que hay que hacer tanto en la industria como en el Estado, se requiere un profundo cambio en la cultura en el sector público. Y para eso nosotros creemos que la política de datos abiertos es un catalizador de este proceso de cambio dentro del sector público. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much for fitting so well the allocated time. Our second speaker today will be Mr. Kesami Jotaki. He belongs to the company FUKUOKA City Government. Is the Executive Director, Site Utilization Department of Housing and Urban Planning Bureau in Japan. And he has been involved with urban development of Fukuoka City, which has made a remarkable progress in Japan. At present, he plays a leading role in the project of developing a smart and innovative town at a huge former university campus in the city. Please, Mr. The floor is yours.
Good morning. I'm Kesami Jotaki, Executive Director, Site Utilization Department, Housing and Urban Planning Bureau of the Fukuoka City Government. Mr. Masanao Nakazono, Deputy Mayor, was supposed to attend the meeting, but he is not able to do so due to urgent duty in Fukuoka. In his place, I'm pleased to introduce our city policy and approach to you. Fukuoka is a major Japanese city, located about 1,000 kilometers southwest of Tokyo, with a population of 1.55 million. Historically, it is developed as focal point, connecting Japan with the other Asian continents. Fukuoka is one of the leading compact cities in the world. The airport, seaport, and major train station are all only 10 minutes away from the city center, as are interconnected by a convenient public transportation network. This is city center. You can get to beautiful nature just a short ride from the city center. There are many temples and shrines. We have many popular traditional culture and festivals. We have delicious food, so please come and try them. 95% of our citizens are satisfied with the livability of the city, and the British magazine Monocle has selected Fukuoka as the 7th most livable city in the world. Fukuoka is also only city in Japan that has been reported and recommended to other UN members countries as a model of livable urban development and the General Assembly. Our goal is not to become a mega city, but to become a sustainable and livable city with a good balance among people, environment, and urban university vitality. Today, let me introduce two projects on sustainable urban development that Fukuoka City has been promoting. Fukuoka City has started the world's first project on sewage-powered cars. We have focused on the urban biomass energy generated from the human sewage of its 1.55 million citizens. At the sewage treatment plant, biogas generated in the process is used to produce hydrogen. The hydrogen is then supplied fuel cell vehicles of FCVs. The hydrogen station was opened in March 2015. Sewage from about 600 people can produce enough hydrogen to fuel one FCV. We don't need to collect sewage. sewage daily collected to the treatment plant. That's why it is very efficient and sustainable. The future of zero emission is the same as electric cars, but FCVs have a shorter charging time as long cruising distance. The charging time for the full tank is only 3 minutes, as a Toyota's Mirai can travel 615 kilometers of the full tank. From this year, we are starting a new project, a development fuel cell trucks. The truck run on hydrogen produced from sewage for hauling in the urban area. It will be a very important project as the development and common use of the fuel cell trucks could lead to less carbon dioxide in the city center. We all hope to develop fuel cell bus as well. Let's go to second project. Fukuoka City aims to create an area of innovation as way to challenge in the many fields, including mobility. Fukuoka has a plan to develop a 500,000 square meters former university campus located in the eastern part of the city. It is called Fukuoka Smart East Project, creating a model city full of innovation. The area has great potential. The first is related to transportation. There are 3 train stations within near the area. It is also close to the exit and entrance of the city expressway and the airport. Secondly, most of both land is owned by Kyushu University and Fukuoka City government, so we can promote development speedily. Thirdly, Fukuoka, being one of the national strategic special zoning, can ease regulation and has a challenger-friendly atmosphere. With these potentials, Fukuoka City has the best condition to take on challenges, such as the Fukuoka Smart East project. Before commissioning the project to developers, we examine the necessary smart function on the different fields to be put into the project, and then let developers use them. By piling up and connecting innovative elements, we can create the smartest common platform. Fukuoka Smart East will be the most advanced smart city, including the field of mobility. We can establish an innovative model with Fukuoka Smart East and extend its development to all over the city, then to the spread in the nationwide and overseas. By doing so, we want to contribute to the development and sustainable and livable society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jotaki, for fitting so well the time. Our third speaker is Dr. Ralph Muehleisen from the Argonne National Laboratory in the United States. He is the principal building scientist and currently the Building Energy Strategy Decision and Technology group leader at the Argonne National Laboratory. Ralph leads research to improve the energy efficiency, sustainability, and resiliency of the built environment. Please, Ralph.
Thank you. Buenos dias. This is my first trip to Barcelona, and I want to thank all my new friends from around the world in Barcelona. This has been an excellent trip, so thank you very much. Before I talk about the array of things, which is what I think most of you came to see, I do want to tell you a little bit about Argonne. Argonne National Lab is a laboratory of the Department of Energy. We do a lot of research in various things related to energy, although the Department of Energy of the United States is our primary client. We do work with industry as well as other international partners. So we are a lab that does discovery science. We are a lab that is focused primarily on energy and technology. We also do a lot of applied science and engineering, and relevant to our smart city stuff here, we do work in urban science and engineering, a lot of work on the smart grid. One of our primary areas of focus that may be of interest to you also is resilient infrastructure, trying to help cities not just become smarter in their energy use, but really be able to be more resilient when it comes to changes in climate, natural disaster, or other changing situations. We also do a lot of work in new, smarter materials and manufacturing. And the keynote speaker yesterday talking about the circular economy, the idea of really understanding how we can make use of materials and manufacturing in a circular economy is work that we also do. As I mentioned, we do international partnerships. We are part of a consortium that works between US and China with clean energy. For those of you who are here from Italy, we have a joint center. It's a joint research center from the EU that has an Italian partner. I think that we're setting up a German partner that has to do with interoperability and standards related to electric vehicles and the smart grid. We are a big player in the International Atomic Energy Agency, but we also have partnerships with the Array of Things, which is really what I'm here to talk to you about. So that is who Argonne is. We've seen a lot of talks that have been talking about urbanization. This is a talk and a session about data and data collection. So let's really kind of go over some of the things that we want to be measuring cities for. We want to measure cities so we can understand urban growth patterns and how the city's changing. We really want to understand the better connection of all the systems that make up a city or metropolitan area. If we can understand those connections, and we can understand how a change in transportation systems affects the change in urban growth, which change in crime and a change in health. Those are the sort of the relationships that we need to understand to do better planning and better operation of our cities. We may just want to be able to measure so we can quantify our abilities of a city to deliver services, the quality of life for our citizens, and to benchmark ourselves against other cities so we can do comparison. To do all that, we need to be collecting data. So we think about what is it that cities are measuring now. If we go through and start looking at cities, there's a lot of data that's available. Here you can see information from the city of Chicago. Yesterday, Brenda Berman, who's a chief information officer of Chicago, gave a talk. Chicago has been on the forefront of free open data for the world to have access to, and there is a lot of good information. You can get information on a fairly detailed map about life expectancy, health outcomes, public safety. Now, what we want to do to understand those relationships is start looking at correlations or connections between different types of energy. But what we have is data that's taken in different time scales, different spatial scales. And now when we want to take a look and see how does something like air quality affect your life expectancy or health outcomes or crime rates or food poison in restaurants, we are having a complete lack of data. What we have is looking here at a lack of high temporal spatial resolution of things like the dynamics of the city. What are the pollutants? What is the air quality? What is the local temperature? Where does the people flow? What are the vehicle flows? So things like that, we are really lacking data. And it was this lack when we're trying to do an understanding of what in air quality might have an effect on asthma rates of children or the grades of children, the educational outcomes. Those lack of data are driving us to develop better instrumentation. And this really led to the development of two projects. First one is something called WAGGLE that was developed at Argonne National Lab with funding from the Department of Energy, which is a platform, an open platform, in terms of open software, open hardware, for intelligent and attentive sensors. And the University of Chicago, which is development of the Array of Things. It's a science-driven instrument for urban measurement. This actually was done majorly in cooperation with the Department of Energy, the National Science Foundation, and a really key partner, the City of Chicago. They are a client in this, but they are a partner as much as anybody else. Without the City of Chicago as a main driver of what it is we need to measure, and as an example to begin with for pilot projects, this project would not have happened. So the WAGGLE platform, which is the data collection and computation center, is a fairly unique platform. There's all over Europe, people have sensor systems that are being put on light poles, that are being put in helmets of people who are bicycle riders. many of those are lacking some of the fundamental functionality that you would really want in something that's going to be a scientific quality instrument that is going to be robust. So the platform here was developed with a few interesting design features, in particular the fail-safe feature. It was really developed based on NASA's Deep Space Probe, how you build in redundancy and the ability to reliably come back online when there's been a power outage or other event. A very flexible ability to put in sensors that are of interest to you. The basic package will have air quality sensors, which is such like PM10 or PM2.5, volatile organic compounds, other standard air quality sensors, temperature, humidity, all of which have been calibrated and are scientific grade, not just the sort of things that you have in your little home weather station. There are also infrared cameras, visual cameras that we'll talk a little bit about data privacy and how you deal with that, and microphones. When you put these things together, you get our array of things node. So in a blue box, you have your computation, where our whole WAGGLE platform is. The little white canister is sitting here where the sensors are. And the platform itself has a very high-end graphics processing unit in addition to a low-power CPU that lets you do machine learning and what we call edge computing. So although we have cameras that can take pictures of people who are flowing or cars who are flowing, those data never actually get sent to a server and go out to the world. What is done is edge computing, where we count the number of people. We count the number of cars. We look down and see, does it look like there's snow? I'm from Chicago. Argonne National Lab's outside Chicago. We have snow. We look to see, is there snow that hasn't been shoveled at the bus stop? Do we see that there's water flooding because we just had a very large rain event? So without having water sensors or snow sensors, using our infrared sensors in our camera, we can go ahead and see, are we flooding? We can use microphones to do things like checking sound level, but they can also do event detection of, there was a car crash. So now we can go ahead, and if there's a car crash, we can at the same time take our edge detection and see what information we can pull out from the visuals. Air quality is one of the primary drivers of development of the system, but we plan on using that in conjunction with weather information and street activity. You can see in the lower middle picture the physical size of the node, and you can see on the far right how it is actually connected to a light pole. One of the other features here is this is designed to be able to be disassembled, that the sensor unit can be quickly disassembled and put on new sensors. One of the other very important features, as I mentioned here, is privacy security. So as far as security goes, the way that we ensure security is this is actually what we call phone home system. It's one-way communication. The node will only connect up to a registered server, and in this case the servers are at Argonne National Lab. We are a national lab that has a lot of secure information, so we know how to secure our system. There is no way to get into the node. You cannot connect into the node, you cannot telnet into you don't connect to the node. It will connect to the server and say, do you have new instructions? So the only way to break into the system is to completely fake Argonne server system, which, given that we have over 1 billion internet attacks a day from foreign countries trying to get into our systems that get refuted, we should be able to keep the data secure from the array of things node. And as far as privacy goes, as we mentioned, you're never collecting personalized data. You've got air information data that is something that's going to be completely public, because we are not sending pictures of people, not sending events.
It's out of time. Sorry. It's sorry for that. Okay. Our fifth speaker is Mr. Frédéric Passaniti from OpenDataSoft. His job title is Tech Evangelist and Consultant. Technology Evangelist is an OpenDataSoft working with clients on projects implementation. He is an expert on big data projects development and deployment, is setting up systems architecture and data collection system. Please.
Thank you. Hello everyone. So, Frédéric Passaniti, Tech Evangelist. I help our clients to share the data, to publish the data, to let them use our platform easily to share the data. And I will show you some examples, some use cases of clients and partners that worked on what we call open data project. So first, let me, in one sentence, tell what OpenDataSoft do. OpenDataSoft, we provide a platform to push, to publish, to process and store data, and in order to be able to, for our clients to share it easily through data visualization, to APIs, in order to communicate on them. Okay. How does it work? Yeah, thank you. So first, our philosophy, what we call truly open. For us, the main topic is about how will average citizen will access the data. So the idea is to get rid of very technical and raw formats. The idea is to be able to propose to our users a very simple way of visualizing and downloading the data. So for us, a technical infrastructure that should be able to provide this kind of service should be able to have real-time processing, so to being able to store and to process in real time the data, to be able to provide online data visualization, so maps, charts, tables, simple way to see online the data, and of course APIs. Our solution is we say API first, because APIs are the key for developing directly application, mobile application, and all that stuff. And the idea, of course, is to be in touch with the widest audience as possible. So technical experts in transportation, but also just mobile app developers, and or just average citizens that wants to be able to see transport data. Navicia is one of our partners. They are developing trip planning APIs, open APIs, to be able to develop application on top of them. So I think you all know there was a well-known GTFS file format. So they are sharing this kind of very advanced and technical format on their platform. But they will also provide APIs to be able to download them and to access to them easily. One key thing is, okay, we are sharing GTFS files because it's mandatory. It's the basic format for developing trip planners and advanced transportation application. But they also provide the global coverage map of every stop points, every points of buses, trains that they are that their API is managing. So the idea is, okay, you are a developer, you are looking for an API to develop your own trip planning application. Let's have a look. Do my country is inside this map? Yes, no? Okay, go on. So this is quite important. Another example is for us, so Star. Star, it's a network of buses and metro in Rennes. Rennes is an average city in France. For us, this portal is a really great example because they are focused on average citizen. So average citizen means you, me, everyone that are not a developer, that wants to just know where is his bus, where are all the lines, all the bus lines, all the metro lines, all the stop points, and all that stuff. So they are providing public-facing datasets, and 1/3 of the portal is also providing real-time data. So let's have a look to some examples. So for example, here we have bus lines. Bus lines, if you want to access them, of course, in a GTFS file, you will be able to access them. Lot of transport actors will provide it as open, but only for technical users. So here, quite simple, like on Google Maps at home, a map, lines. We don't see it on the screenshot, but we are also providing filters, a search bar to do some queries and to say, okay, I want only lines starting from there in this direction with buses available during the night and all that stuff. Again, online data visualization plus the API. So if you want to develop something on top of it, the API is available with a simple format, HTTP format, so classic stuff, to go and get the data. Another example is real-time bus position. So much more interesting. Every minute, the buses of the network are providing their geolocalization, so you are able to see where is it, if he is walking, in what direction, the line number, the bus ID, and all that stuff. Again, if we were only providing APIs, it would be focused on technical users. Here, everyone is able to see it, to consult, to see the tables, the charts, and all that stuff. Based on that, based on this kind of APIs, people, developers, mobile developers, has developed an application called Where is my bus? So it's quite obvious. Mobile application used by every citizen in the metropolis. Just saying, okay, we are waiting at the bus station. Where is the next one? How many minutes should I wait? Should I take another way? Should I rent a bike or something? So it's quite simple, open source initiative, and some figures. You see this kind of practice, the way to share the data very easily, just brought to the Star network more than 3,000 calls per day. So it means a good usage of it. A lot of different users like researchers, citizens, students, developers for transport application, and 9 of them are approved by the network. We are not only playing with time is running. Let's go fast. We are also playing with IoT, smart cameras, and all that stuff. So the idea is we are in partnership with Paris and Cisco for their Panda big data analytics platform. They install in Paris, in a specific place, a lot of sensors, of pedestrian sensors, car, ability to see how many cars, what speed, where they are coming from, where they are going, to analyze the way people are crossing this place. So again, simple maps, simple APIs to gather this data and to do some data science on it, to try to make some predictive analysis or all that stuff. Another example, one of our partners, GE, is providing a lot of IoT and smart cities data. For example, here it's parking availability. It's quite easy to get this data on a very technical and proprietary API, but here a simple map, simple shapes on the map, and instantly you see which one are available, which one are busy, and again an API to develop an application on top of that. Yeah, it's finished? Okay. Too fast.
Yes, sorry. Okay, our last speaker in this session will be Mr. Albert Isern, that is the CEO of the company Bismart, a big data company focused on city management, a winner in 2009 of the Barcelona Entrepreneurship Competition Award. Has a degree in telecommunication engineering from UPC and a master in marketing and sales management from ESADE. Please.
Good morning. I hope you are having a nice time in Barcelona. I am Albert Isern, the CEO of Bismart, and I'm really proud because Bismart has received different worldwide awards, such as Microsoft Worldwide Partner of the Year in Big Data for 3 years in a row, and 3 weeks ago, just 3 weeks ago, the IoT Solutions World Congress. Woo! Oh, okay, then now talking about this important challenge. Traffic fatalities is one of the most important problems that we have in our days. The direct impact, that like the injured people or the relatives, plus the ripple effect. A traffic accident in Barcelona can make someone else lose a job in Singapore. The traffic congestion created by an accident can make someone lose a flight of an important interview. European Union demands to reduce the traffic fatalities up to a 50% by 2020 compared to 2010. The government of Catalonia is really committed to the European Union challenge. The deployment of checkpoints, speed radars, and other measures has been successful, but not good enough. This is the reason why the government of Catalonia asked Bismart for an intelligent solution to recover the decreasing trends. Thanks to our predictive solution, we help emergency and security services pinpointing when, where, and under what conditions accidents will occur. With machine learning, we gather information from multiple sources of data: accidents, traffic accidents files, roadworks, weather conditions, economic activity, hotel occupancy, bank holidays, live concerts, and we can provide this information to help managers to plan better where to deploy resources, optimizing the needed patrols and decreasing the number and the impact of such accidents. Let's see an example. Here we have information from the last 5 years in Barcelona. We can see that there were 27 fatalities in 10,000 accidents and 2,000 serious injuries in this period. And now we are identifying these crash spots. A spot is a cross street, and we are identifying these dangerous spots in the city when the accidents occurs. We are dividing the city in different kilometers. We are analyzing these different areas in the city. We can see here that, accidents are occurs in fall, in winter. The increases the accidents in fall, in winter, also in weekly days, and in the evening. People left, going back to home, coming from the office. They are stressed. They speed up. They are they take less care, and that produces more accidents in this time. This is one of our objectives when the accidents occurs. And under what conditions we can see in the city with heavy rain, there are more density of traffic, but for this reason there are more slow traffic and the accidents decrease. But in good weather, people go faster and then the traffic increases. In rural areas, the main impact are for the weather, for the fog, and for the road works. We are analyzing this impact in order to suggest with these predictive solutions to managers where they can deploy the resources in order to be more dissuasive to prevent these accidents. This is our predictive engine that are predicting with these different conditions, weather conditions, environmental conditions, and this data around this territory, like concerts or events or bank holidays or all this kind of information. We are predicting the possibilities that an accident will occur. How are we doing that? We are following the machine learning methodology. That we start with the first step with the business understanding. In this case, in our team, we have data scientists, but also we have experts in every domain. In this case, we have experts on Police Squad. We have experts in traffic. Let me now to introduce you our sergeant. And the first step is the business understanding, to ask the challenge to the predictive model that it has to answer to help managers to prevent accidents. Second step, we have to choose which data sources, which attributes we will add in our predictive engine. The third step, we have to clean this data. We have to depurate this data. We have to deduplicate, we have to clean, we have to georeferentiate this data that we are adding in our predictive model. The next step, our data scientists choose the most suitable algorithm or customize them or develop a customized algorithm and apply it into the predictive engine in this experiment, in this machine learning experiment. In this process, in an iterative process, that we add or reduce data sources or change, customize the algorithms. Finally, in 2-3 months, we deliver a first release in an environment, in a productive environment that the customers can use. We are seeing this example with crime prediction in Chicago, and now we are using the crime database to predict crime. We are adjusting a 75%, an accuracy with 75%, compare the predictive model with the real. Now we are adding the moon phase data set. As you know, we are in a full moon now, and the crime increases when full moon occurs. It's a urban legend. We are going to see the results, and we jump from a 75% if we add this data set until to a 76%. It's a stupid urban legend, sorry. We are removing this data set, and if we add the data set of the weather conditions and the events, we jump until a fantastic 90%, and we are now with an accuracy predictive model. Thank you so much.
Gracias. Muy bien. Well, now we have 10 minutes for these questions and answers, and there are two possibilities. One is the technological possibility, the questions that you have vote through the system, but obviously we will still give room and some chances to the human possibility. So when I go through these questions that you have asked through the system, I will leave the possibility of questions from the floor. Okay? The first question is, as the most voted, is you say that you can use mobile data to analyze pedestrian movements. Is that easy and cheap to attain from network providers? What?
What I say was now we start to this work because we have a big challenge how to get the data, because you need the model split to do that. Now we're trying how you can get with information for cell phone, understand this is a pedestrian and this is people who are in a bicycle. Now we are trying to do this model split, and sometimes for it's easy when you the people have the information from a pedestrian way. And with that information, now we try to know first how you can change the traffic light with that information, and also how you can provide new infrastructure to improve the quality for the pedestrian.
Thank you. Also, we are reusing information coming from devices, and for this challenge, first step, we need an agreement with the carrier companies, with the mobile operators, but maybe it could be difficult for maybe we can have difficulties about the money, or maybe about the privacy laws. And another possibility is to deploy, to deliver a mobile app that citizens can reuse for urban transport, public transport, or for other interesting things around the city about tourist topics or about different citizen needs. And then thanks to this app, in an anonymous way, we can track their movements, and it could be a great possibility to track and analyze the citizen movements.
Thank you. The second question, what happens is that all these questions are anonymous, so you are not, I don't know exactly to whom it is addressed, is are the mobility data relevant collected by GTFS for the trip? Are these data updated data according to the variation of the timetable during the year? Okay, that's for...
In fact, if you are talking about variation during the year, it's you are referring to static timetables. So, of course, static timetables. We know that with the traffic and mainly in big cities, or not only, in fact, it's not really relevant. So that's why you need to have, what I said, you need to have a platform that is able to process real-time data, because of course what is really interesting, it will be the real-time data, to be able to see instantly if your bus or taxi or anything is stuck somewhere. And today I'm sure you are all using Uber or this kind of private taxi application, and of course you are looking to your taxi in real time, and if he is stuck, you are instantly annoyed, but what the hell is he doing? He's at 1 minute, why he's not coming? So for this kind of use case, it's annoying, but for the other one, it's quite convenient.
The next question is, I would like to get more information about international cooperation opportunities for the Array of Things project.
See me after.
Well, another question about the GTFS data. Are these data reliable? Yeah. What are you going to say?
I don't know. If they are not reliable, it means, for example, for the route, the path of every line, if there is some trouble, if there is an accident or anything, the normal behavior will be to avoid this kind of routes. So again, static GTFS archives are static, so it might not be reliable if something occurred, and we know that every day something occurred. So again, only real-time data is reliable, and yeah, so quite the same answer, in fact, yeah.
Okay, and the last question is just for you, so keep the micro. Bismart, have you quantitatively evaluated the impact of implemented solutions after providing an initial analysis? Do you share best practices?
About this solution, this is a a real innovative solution. For this reason, we are here. Because we present this solution in this event. We are now in a pilot phase with the government and in this traffic fatalities prevention. Our predictive models that we have, our team have more than 20 years experience in predictive. The machine learning is now cool, big data is cool, is actual, but data mining has more 20 years experience, and our team has more 20 years experience, we have a little gray in our hair. And in this efficiency, for example, in private sector, we can reduce 7% annual budget in marketing campaigns thanks to these predictive models. And we are reusing the same algorithms, and we are reusing the same methodology, in this case, in public sector, in this topic, in traffic fatalities. Already we don't have the results. We are in a pilot phase, and I hope in some months we can provide solutions for this important challenge.
Thank you. Well, now we have at least a couple of a time for a couple of questions coming from the floor. So, as I said before, we move from the technology to the human side of the process. If there is any question from the floor, please go ahead. Well, then, yes. Yeah. Then in that case, let me summarize. I think that we have had the main presentations that have been centered on the topic. We have been introduced to a topic that I appreciate very much, this concept of the data as a source. The data by themselves are nothing if you don't know exactly how to process and manipulate this data. And I think that we have been shown some examples on how these analytics can be used to extract useful information for the mobility, in the case of the bikes and in the case of the buses and the public transport. Then we have seen an interesting example on what I will call, if you allow me, the reurbanization of a city, how you reshape the city in order to achieve a more sustainable and livable city, especially from the point of view of the propulsion energies, and with this interesting idea that I would like to discuss more in detail about the hydrogen fuel cell to power all these services. I think that next, for me, one of the important messages has been this about to take into account and how to deal with the spatial and temporal resolution of the data dynamics, I think. Then we have been introduced to a platform, a technological platform to manage the sensors, and later on the computational platform to manipulate or manage the data coming from these sensors. We have continuing with this idea of the managing, collecting and managing the data. I think that what I have found appealing is this idea of making the transport data truly open. And if you allow me, I will add here a kind of personal comment, because my personal perception now is that the open data question, more than a technological problem, is an administrative problem. How to get the agreements with the public companies, especially where I like very much the example you have shown on the real time of bus information. But that means that you have to get the agreement with the public transport company. I congratulate you for this achievement, because I think that this the hardest part of this type of project. And finally, we have seen some examples on how big data solutions can assist in some social purposes, like those of learning about the traffic fatalities in a urban area, and try to get an advance in predicting through the, allow me a small irony about the magics of the algorithms. I think that this concludes the session. Thank you very much for the attendance of the session, and thank you very much the speakers for their contributions. Bye.